Alright, hey, today we're going over Natural Wonders Chapter 8, which is all about sedimentary rock features. And these are features that are only found in sedimentary rocks. If we go right to the very first feature, you're going to see ripple marks. And I think ripple marks are really amazing. All of these sedimentary features, they allow us to tell an environment in the past. So when you see ripple marks, you can identify a very specific environment that used to be right where you're standing, right where you see those ripple marks. And these ripple marks, they start off underwater, so usually in rivers or maybe on shorelines, something like that where the water kind of washes back and forth, and it ends up making these ripple marks, okay? These little piles of sediment on the bottom of, let's say, a river channel. And then just through geologic time, the water is removed for some reason, and then the remaining sediment is lithified together. So that loose sediment, that loose sand, becomes a rock, and it preserves those ripple marks. So the thing you have to know about ripple marks is how they form, the environment that they indicate, and that they're usually formed in sandstone. The next feature here are mud cracks. And we have all seen mud cracks form, I know you have, because we've all seen puddles, maybe on the playground or in your driveway or just randomly in some dirt patch on your way to school. Okay, we've all seen a mud puddle. And we're just talking about two things. We're talking about water mixed with like sand, soil. It makes mud. And what happens is the water gets in between grains of sediment and kind of holds them apart. But when the mud puddle dries up, the water evaporates and it allows those pieces of sediment that were separated by water to contract back towards one another. So there's almost this shrinking that takes place, and it produces cracks throughout that mud as it dries. And again, these mud cracks, they indicate certain environments. And when you look at your packet, the environments there would be things like an ancient lake bed or maybe stream banks. And if you see mud cracks preserved in a rock layer, that's the typical environment that you should think about. The third feature is crossbedding. And crossbedding is this really cool kind of back and forth structure that's produced because of shifting currents of wind and water. And that's a key phrase, remember that. Shifting currents of wind or water. And that's how this crossbedding is developed, okay? In Natural Wonders, we're gonna see a little video clip of the movement of a sand dune. And wind is constantly blowing and it's pushing sand off the back of the sand dune, which ends up producing a particular pattern as that sand dune just deposits material. But if there's some sort of change, some shifting that takes place, in either the wind of a sand dune or maybe, an ocean current or even the currents of Lake Michigan change, and sediment is deposited differently, okay, the pattern that would result from that different current would look different than the layers before it. And that's how we have this cross-bedding taking place in outcrops, shifting currents of wind or water. The fourth feature is an ancient stream channel. In the picture here, what we're seeing is kind of a U-shaped channel where there used to be water flowing, and in that channel, it's full of rock now, okay? The rock is conglomerate, and that's something important to remember too. A lot of times gravel is deposited, and then it's lithified together, and we end up with conglomerate that fills these ancient streams, okay? So as the stream fills up with sediment, with gravel, it's going to fill up so much that the water has nowhere else to go but to move out of that stream channel and divert to an easier path. And once that happens, then the remaining gravel can be compacted and lithified together to make a solid rock. The last feature is just simply fossils. Fossils are very unique to sedimentary rocks. They can't form in any other type of rock for really obvious reasons, right? If you throw like a dead organism in lava, it's going to burn. It's going to destroy the remains. The heat and pressure involved in producing metamorphic rocks is so intense that it would definitely destroy any remains of any creatures that have been buried in rock layers. So sedimentary rocks are the only type of rocks where you get fossils. All right, this is a really short chapter. There's only 5 features. So you really do have to know pretty much every single word on the page for Chapter 8's quiz. Okay, if you have any questions, just like always, make sure you ask. Thanks.